Direct from Foxborough, Massachusetts, the gem of Norfolk County, and taped at the studios of Foxborough Cable Access. It's Foxborough Central, and here's your host, Bob Hickey.
And welcome to another episode of Foxborough Central. I am Bob Hickey, your host, and I am so glad you're taking the time to join with me and my guest as we talk about the people and events that make Foxborough truly the gem of Norfolk County. I'm talking to a young person right now who is a recent graduate of the Foxborough Regional Charter School and who is making her mark, or will soon make her mark, in the literary realm. I'm, of course, talking to our new friend, Tarah Valin. Tarah, nice to meet you and welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, first of all, Tarah is a new author. We'll go with author, of Wilting Daisies. And Wilting Daisies is a poetry book, a book of poetry. And there's a little bit more to it than that. So why don't we just start at the beginning. Hi, how are you doing? And
well.
Where do you live and how did you come here?
So I live in Brockton, Massachusetts, but I go to school in Foxborough. I've been going to the charter school since kindergarten.
Okay. And well, actually, can't say anymore because it's now summer of 2018. You have graduated.
I have.
And you're
sadly.
moving on to college. Mm-hmm. Which one?
I'm going to Mass College of Liberal Arts.
Fantastic. Out in beautiful North Adams, Massachusetts. And what are you going to be studying out there?
I'm double majoring in English and secondary education.
Secondary education, excellent. So English, which I suppose brings us to the book. Mm-hmm. Why are we writing a book? Don't you have things to do like parties and baseball and running and homework? Don't you have things to do other than write a book?
I've been writing poetry since the 5th grade.
Okay.
Because my English teacher, Miss Shear, she made us write these writer's notebooks, which I hated. But then through hating it, I found that I loved writing.
Really?
And
what was her name again?
Miss Shear, Charlotte Shear.
Always give a shout out to the teacher that makes a difference, I say.
She runs the Holocaust program. She does, yes.
Excellent.
And then I found that I loved poetry. And then I started performing at my school's coffee houses, and I found that I had a voice that people liked listening to.
Okay.
So then I decided, well, all these poems that I have sitting around on my phone and scattered in notebooks, I can put them together and give them to someone.
So the interesting thing that there's several roads to go down with any interview. And of course, I'm speaking with Tarah Valin, who is a graduate of the Foxborough Regional Charter School. We can talk about poetry, motivation, how you feel about it, why you do it. But now I'm curious about these coffee houses at the charter school, because the Foxborough Regional Charter School is a hidden gem in our town, and one that I don't think everybody truly knows all the pieces to it, because I think when we first were introduced to it, it was a smaller school, just the elementary age, and then it's continuing to grow and mature. So there's coffee house at this place?
All right, we have a coffee house twice a year, usually in the winter and in the spring. But my friend, Elisa, who's the one who now runs Coffee House, she's a rising junior, and she wants to add a third coffee house every year. Okay. So what it is it's students and teachers sometimes who perform any talent that they have. And when Coffee House first started out, when I was back in elementary school, it used to be like completely poetry. Mm-hmm. And then the poetry died out. And it evolved into something that sounded more like a singing competition constantly. But then poets started coming out of the woodwork, and it became something that was a showcase for singing, for poetry, for dancing. And every year, Coffee House just grows and grows and grows. It's open to the public, so
really
anyone can come.
Well, we'll have to be on the lookout for that. And then how is it publicized so that we and the public know?
It's on the school's website.
Okay.
And if you know any FERCA student, they should probably be able to tell you where they can find it. It's usually on social media as well. Okay,
great. So be on the lookout and pay attention. There's good stuff going on at the Foxborough Regional Charter School. That said, let's talk about you, because you mentioned the poetry, and there's a number of poets out there, perhaps undercover, perhaps aspiring, or perhaps people just dabbling. But you seem to be doing a little bit more than dabbling. You have compiled, and you had them on your phone. I'll see you're way younger than I am. I would not put poetry on my phone. Of course, I would not put poetry anywhere because that's not me. But you have done that, and you've now compiled them. So let's take a look at the book. What do we have here?
So it's broken up into 3 parts.
Okay.
The first part is, it's me.
Okay.
And this is like just poems about myself. Some of them are like saddish poems. Some of them are kind of encouraging. And then the second part is you. which is dedicated to one of my many muses. And
Okay.
the last part is The Other Guy. And I like to keep myself attached. No, not attached. Like, I like to detach myself from my poetry because it makes it easier for my readers to get into it. And my goal with Wilting Daisies is to make you cry. That
Really?
is, yes, that's the goal.
Fantastic. There should be a mission with every project, and that is interesting. So we're speaking with Tarah Valin. She is an author of poetry, and these books are available, by the way. Wilting Daisies is available on Amazon.com, believe it or not, yes, and also at Barnes & Noble. You can go either to the store and request it, or you can go to barnesandnoble.com and pick one up for yourself. So Tarah, just it's nice that you've compartmentalized. Let's start off with me, and I would have to imagine that in the 5th grade when you started writing, we're not thinking of global issues at that age. It is about the me, the id. So tell us, is that where this started, or?
So my me is actually, it actually does involve global things, because my me is a combination of problems that I deal with and also problems that I think that people my age, people who are like me, deal with as well. So
The broader perspective.
Yep, the broader perspective. So the first one is titled Go to Sleep, and it's about students killing themselves over homework and just like stressing. And it's talking about how we don't even value sleep anymore. And that's one of my favorites, and a lot of people at my school enjoyed that one too.
Okay.
And then the other ones are about bodies and girls and boys not valuing their bodies, not valuing others, and just seeing each other as simply bodies and not souls. And then it goes beyond that. I talked to one, there's one called I Won't Join Your Revolution, and that's talking about just societal issues and how everyone is just angry, and how I feel like sometimes I cannot, my voice isn't loud enough to.
So these are not just superficial issues. You're not talking about pop stars and dogs taking walks down the sidewalk or anything like that. It sounds like it's pretty in-depth.
Thank you.
Well, the credit also to your school for encouraging. Now, my understanding is that this compilation of poetry is a senior project of sorts. Tell us about that.
So for senior year, if you have all your credits in history or elective, you can choose to do something called a Senior Independent Enrichment Project. And it's basically where you choose an advisor and you choose your own class. And it's supposed to be like a jump start in a college, because your professors won't be breathing down your neck and they won't give you all your assignments.
That is for sure.
Yep. So Senior Independent, we had to create our own. So mine, I chose to do poetry and self-publication, because I do really care about writing, but I realized that I wasn't giving myself time to write because I was so stressed about my schoolwork. So I figured if I made it into a class, then I would have to pay attention to it. So I spent the year reading up on self-publication, reading up on different marketing skills, and then I put it all to use with my book.
Interesting. So you created the entire project. It's not just the writing. You did all of it, all the work that went into becoming self-published. And how do you think you did in the class?
I think I did well. My advisor, she's my rock, Miss Lee Ball. She supported me throughout
That's what we do here.
She supported me throughout the whole process, and I don't think I could have done it without her, to be honest.
Excellent, excellent. So the me and the you and the other guy, sticking with the me, how personal was this? Poetry is personal by definition, but this was also a school project. So some people just kind of write to fill space in order to get a grade. That's not what this was about, though.
Oh, no, not at all. So when I was writing, I never thought of the book. So when I was writing my poems, I was never like, oh, I have to write this for the book. It was all poems that I wrote over time, and they ended up in the book. So the me was super personal. And it was kind of after I wrote it, I was like, wow, yikes, my teachers are reading this, because I saw them holding it, and I was like, oh.
Well, that was my question. So it sounds like you're hitting some pretty powerful topics, but at the same time, that is the first step in any conversation is actually broach a subject. And these are some difficult subjects, but at the same time, there's subjects that happen and are real.
It was very difficult. A lot of the poems that are in me, such as like the ones about bodies and not valuing each other, like teenagers just like wasting away in that way, were hard to perform during school. But after I did them at Coffee House, and I was like, wow, the teachers aren't fighting me on this. The teachers are saying she has a voice, she has something to say, and it's important. And the school one as well, I thought the teachers weren't going to enjoy that, but they did. They listened. The counselors were like, wow, I hear you. And that's what gave me the motivation to put it in the book.
Isn't that interesting? Because you mentioned the me and the voice several times now. And I have to applaud anybody who finds that voice and has the confidence, because everybody has a voice, but it's having the confidence to believe in yourself enough to say, hey, my voice matters and what I have to say means something. And the global awareness, but also the self-awareness that, it sounds like you're very mature in how you've approached this, and that the importance of the message isn't lost in screaming and yellow and self-doubt and whatnot. So it sounds like you've really gone above and beyond when it comes to creating a path for that message to get across.
Thank you.
Would you say that?
Yes, I would.
I'll say it, but you can say it too.
I definitely use my words and Coffee House to try and be, the voice, to say voice again, for those who can't say it themselves.
Sure.
So there are a lot of people I think my age who are thinking about what I'm saying, but they don't have the guts to say it themselves, or they think that they're going to get ridiculed or something. But when they see my poems, they're like, oh, Tarah's saying it, so.
Excellent. Well, good for you for that. And does that bring us to the you? Is that where this goes to?
You.
So tell me about the you. Would that be the me? Would it be the you to the me, or the me to the you?
You, I get that question a lot. A lot of people ask me, like, who is you about? And I'm like, it's whoever you want it to be about. So I like to keep all my poems nameless. I like to keep all my muses, hidden, because that way my readers can relate to it more, because you could be someone I know, it could be someone I don't even know. It's whoever the reader sees you as.
Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm. You was an interesting one to write, because there were some powerful pieces in there, and I knew some people would be like, oh, I know who that's about, but I didn't want that to get in the way.
But it can't possibly be about, because it's not about anybody.
It's not about anyone. Yeah.
So how great is that when you can self-identify or identify others within those words, because it means that they are actually touching somebody, and up here, you're able to identify with that.
It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. I would agree with you on that. So you can Tarah Valin. She is an author. We'll say accomplished author, self-published author with Wilting Daisies. It's a book that's available on Amazon.com as well as BarnesandNoble.com. You can also go to the store and pick one up or at the desk. So before we get into the last part of the book, how is this going to prepare you for college? How is this created either confidence-wise or even education-wise, or at least maybe self-direction or education path-wise? How is this preparing you for that next step? Because you said that part of the senior project, and I'm abbreviating whatever you said, but part of the senior project is to create that college-level course. So how has this done that?
So I was worried before Wilting Daisies that I wouldn't have time to write in between my classes, but senior year was difficult with, applications and things. So I know that I can write and be a successful writer while I'm also balancing my schoolwork. And it also showed me that if traditional publishing doesn't work for me, self-publishing is an option.
I think that is a realization that a lot of people are coming to, perhaps not at your young age, but that if we feel passionately, perhaps even this program, if we feel strongly about something, there are avenues, and we can sometimes just take control of it ourselves. So good for you for coming to that realization. Was it very difficult? I mean, I know you had to learn the business part of it, but then create it. Was it very difficult to do? For those of you who may be frustrated writers yourselves, this might be an interesting part of the program.
It was. There were some parts where formatting was a crucible. It took me days to format because I had to teach myself how to use the formatting software, because I wanted it to be a completely cost-free thing. I wanted to be able to see that I could do this without putting in money. And a less stressful way to do it would have been to hire someone to format it for me, but I wanted to do it myself.
But it wouldn't have been you.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been me.
And I don't mean to interrupt, and I apologize, but I think that anything that we do, once we give away any piece of it, then it becomes less us. And so good for you for doing that, because particularly with poetry, I have to believe that the formatting is part of the message and part of the story.
Yeah.
In illustrations and anything else, or even a lack of illustration. It looks very Spartan. Your formatting is interesting also, because I like the style, the complete white, and also with the white of the jersey or your t-shirt, and then with the black, simple black printing. That's a message in and of itself.
I did that on purpose because I wanted to detach myself from it as much as possible. That way, people aren't reading about me, they're reading about whatever they feel. And I think that decorations and pictures and stuff would have detracted from that.
Interesting. Tarah Valin with Wilting Daisies. We're going to now hit the third one. So we did the me, or the you, and then we did the you, or the me. So we did the me and the you, and now what's the third one?
The other guy.
So tell us about the other guy.
The other guy is about, well, anything you want it to be about. But I love this piece because I wasn't bound to thinking of one muse. When I was writing you, I was thinking of, one specific muse, but the other guy, I could wrap in a whole bunch of different people. Didn't even have to be guys, could have been family members. I don't know, you don't know, you won't find out. So that was interesting. The other guy also had some powerful pieces in there. Anytime I write, it's always somewhat risky because my muses, sometimes they know and they'll be like, well, that one's about me. And I'm like, I don't know.
There's always that risk of discovery, but at the same time, if it's that powerful, it means that much too, then of course it's going to come out in your writing. You can't help it, right?
Yep, I care.
So I'm going to ask you, and the great thing about this program is we kind of go in different directions. I would love to hear a piece of your poetry, of your work. So would it be all right if you shared a piece? So while you're finding maybe your favorite piece out of there, now I don't want to give away the pig with the poke here. We're going to make people buy this because you can go to Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com. I'm going to give that information while you find that favorite poem in there. And then, so I'm of course talking to Tarah Valin. She is a graduate of Foxborough Regional Charter School. They apparently have a coffee house out there. We can all be paying attention to their social media by being their friends and following them on Facebook and also Googling them up and paying attention to their homepage so that we can, the public, find out when they're going to have their next set of coffee houses for the 2018-2019 school year. And then maybe we'll see some talented students such as Tarah and the next generation who has something to share that we might find not only eye-opening but also entertaining. You can find her book, Wilting Daisies, by going to Amazon.com or to BarnesandNoble.com or stopping into your nearest Barnes & Noble and talking to the clerk to see how you can get a hold of your copy of Wilting Daisies. It's a poetry book. She's on her way to Mass College of Liberal Arts. We're lucky to have her sitting with us now, and she's going to regale us or give us one of her powerful pieces. Tarah.
This one is one of the last ones I did at Coffee House, and I also did it at my book release party. It's titled Side Chick. Okay. Stop running to me because you know my arms are always open, my memory is faulty, my anger is short-lived, and regardless of what you've done, I will always let you in. Stop running to me when you and your girlfriend are having problems and the weight of your oh so serious high school relationship is too much for you to bear. Don't call me when you need me to help you feel something, to send some electric current up your veins, to boost your ego so that you may know that I reside under your fingertips. Don't come to me when she leaves you, simply because you know that I am always waiting. Don't come to me because you know that I will comfort you, hold you, be her temporary replacement. See, side chicks, side pieces, side orders are the best dumpies. It is not that we don't have morals or self-respect, but our insecurities run so deep that we don't mind sitting, waiting patiently with hands folded, collars tight, leashes around our necks until master is done tending to the missus, until he throws us a bone. His hungry hands reach out and we bow down before him, waiting for him to bestow an ounce of his precious attention on us. No, do not come running to me when she leaves you. I am sick of being your consolation prize. When your self-esteem is low and you are looking for a pick-me-up, do not scroll through your phone until your finger lands upon my name. I will not respond. I have too much self-respect to continue settling for her leftovers.
Very powerful.
Thank you.
Tarah Valin, author of Wilting Daisies. I'm going to give you the last word. I just want to say that is amazing, and of course that speaks not only to high school level, but throughout the ages. So what a great poem.
Thank you.
Now, is that from personal experience, or should I not ask?
It might be your personal experience. I'm not sure.
Excellent. I love it. Was that from the other guy section?
That was the very last poem in the book.
Excellent, excellent. Wilting Daisies, clearly a compelling read and one that we should all rush out to Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com to purchase. Tarah, I give you the last word.
Thank you for having me, and please don't be shy. Go and buy the book or borrow it from someone else. Just read it. It'll be worth your time.
Clearly you're not shy. Clearly you're going to be a leader, and all the best of luck to you at Mass College of Liberal Arts. It's a great school, and I hope you have nothing but successes out there. And we can't wait to also find your second, third, and fourth published work.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us here on Foxborough Central. On behalf of all the volunteers here, including Deb Storrs behind the camera, Mike Weber, our great executive director who's filling in behind the glass, and Taylor Scharfman, who is our editor-in-chief. I'm Bob Hickey, your host. Thank you so much for joining us, and until next time, have a great day, Foxborough.